There are moments in life when everything seems silent. You pray, but there is no answer. You work hard, but nothing moves. You believe, yet the miracle delays. My friends, there are moments in life when everything seems silent. You look around and wonder if anyone truly sees what you're going through. You pray until your voice trembles. You cry until your eyes can no longer hold the tears. You believe with all your heart, and yet nothing changes. The heavens feel quiet. The doors you thought would open remain locked. The promises you were holding onto seem so far away that you begin to question whether they were even meant for you. You whisper in the stillness, "God, where are you? Why is this happening to me? Why is everything taking so long?" But let me tell you something from the depth of faith. God has not forgotten you. Heaven is not silent, it's strategic. There are seasons when God seems quiet, not because he is absent, but because he is working on things that you cannot yet see. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean there isn't progress. The seed buried in the soil is hidden, but it is not dead. It is growing roots. In the same way, when your life feels buried under silence, remember that God is growing something unseen within you. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. We live in a world of instant gratification. We want everything to happen now. We want prayers answered overnight, doors opened immediately, and miracles that appear on demand. But the God who created time is not bound by it. He does not rush his process to satisfy our impatience. When God delays, it's not because he's denying you. It's because he's developing you. A blessing given too early can become a burden, and a miracle received without maturity can turn into a mistake. God is protecting you from what you are not ready to handle. What he's preparing for you requires strength, patience, and character. He is not just preparing the blessing for you. He's preparing you for the blessing. Think about Joseph in the prison. Nothing about that season made sense. He was promised greatness, yet he was forgotten and left behind. But God was shaping his heart in that darkness, teaching him humility, endurance, and trust. When the time was right, God didn't just bring him out of prison. He lifted him to the palace. When David was anointed king, he didn't sit on the throne the next day. He faced rejection, exile, and pain. But each valley was a classroom, each tear a teacher, and when the moment finally came, he was ready to lead. Even Jesus, the Son of God, waited for the appointed time to begin his ministry. If heaven's own Son waited for divine timing, how much more should we? You see, sometimes God hides you on purpose. He conceals you so he can strengthen you in private before revealing you in public. The waiting is not wasted. Every "not yet" is a part of a larger story that is still being written. You may not understand it now, but one day you'll look back and say, "Ah, that's why it happened that way." What felt like a detour will turn out to be the exact path you needed. The things you thought were breaking you were actually building you. Every disappointment was divine direction in disguise. So don't lose heart. Don't let the silence make you doubt. God is never early, never late. He is always perfectly on time. What he has planned for you cannot be missed, delayed, or taken away when you walk in faith. The moment he says, "Now," every closed door will open. Every unanswered prayer will suddenly make sense. Every waiting season will reveal its purpose. You'll realize that his timing was not to hurt you, it was to heal you, grow you, and set you up for something far greater than you imagined. So keep believing, keep trusting, keep waiting. Everything will make sense soon. You see, the human heart always longs for immediacy. We want everything to happen quickly, our prayers answered right now, our dreams fulfilled today, our pain to end this very moment. We live in a world of speed, fast food, fast results, fast success, but the kingdom of God does not operate on human schedules. God is not in a hurry because he knows the right time for every purpose under heaven. He knows that the things that come too early can destroy us, and the things that come too late can discourage us. So he brings everything into your life right on time. It may not match your clock, but it will always align with his calendar. When God says, wait, he's not ignoring you, he's investing in you. Waiting is one of the hardest lessons of faith because it demands trust when there's no visible evidence. It requires believing that even when nothing is happening, something is happening in the unseen. You may not see it, but God is aligning people, opening unseen doors, and preparing opportunities you can't yet comprehend. What seems delayed is often divine alignment. He's orchestrating every detail to fit perfectly, not partially. While you wait, remember this: you are not being denied, you are being developed. Delay is not denial, it's preparation. The longer the wait, the greater the work God is doing inside you. He is building strength where you were weak, faith where you were fearful, and endurance where you were impatient. Sometimes, before God changes your circumstances, he changes you. He uses the waiting season to refine your heart, to cleanse your motives, and to teach you to depend on him rather than the outcome. There are times when God deliberately hides you, not to punish you, but to protect you. He conceals you in the secret place so that you can grow without pressure, mature without exposure, and learn without distraction. Just like a tree develops deep roots before it grows tall branches, you are in a season where God is growing your roots deep. He is preparing you to withstand the weight of what's coming. If you were promoted too soon, the success could crush you. But once you've been strengthened in the hidden place, nothing can shake you when the blessing arrives. When God holds back what you've been praying for, it's not rejection, it's redirection. He sees what you cannot see. You might be asking for something small when he has something greater in store. What you think is a closed door might actually be God saving you from unnecessary pain. Every not yet you've heard from heaven is filled with divine love. God never says wait without a purpose. Think of the seasons of nature. A seed must stay buried in the soil before it breaks through the ground. If you dig it up too soon, you destroy its growth. In the same way, your waiting season is sacred. Don't despise it. Don't rush it, trust it. You're being equipped for what's ahead. God is using your delays to position you for destiny. When the appointed time comes, it won't be a struggle. The doors will open effortlessly. The people meant to help you will appear. What you've been chasing will begin to chase you. Everything that once seemed out of reach will suddenly align perfectly. That's the power of God's timing. So don't grow weary in the waiting. Don't let frustration steal your faith. Your job is not to figure out when it will happen. Your job is to trust the one who knows how and when to make it happen. Keep praying, keep believing, keep moving forward. Every second of waiting is sacred preparation for the season that's about to unfold. Because when it finally happens, you'll look back and realize it was worth every moment of the wait. When Joseph was thrown into the pit, betrayed by his own brothers, it made no sense. He had dreams given by God, promises whispered from heaven, visions of greatness, and yet there he was, forgotten, broken, and trapped in darkness. It didn't look like destiny, it looked like disaster, but God was still working. What Joseph didn't know was that every setback was secretly setting him up for what was to come. The pit led to Potiphar's house led to the prison, and the prison led to the palace. Each painful chapter was necessary. Without the betrayal, there would have been no Egypt. Without the prison, there would have been no promotion. What felt like punishment was preparation. When David was hiding in caves, running from King Saul, it didn't make sense either. He had been anointed king, but there was no crown on his head, only a sword at his throat. He had the promise, but not the position. In those lonely nights when fear whispered that maybe God had changed his mind, David had to remind himself God's silence is not his absence. God was shaping him, teaching him how to lead not from pride but from humility, not from power but from trust. Before David could rule the kingdom, he had to learn to rely completely on God in the wilderness. His pain was building the wisdom his future throne would demand. And then we look to Jesus, the perfect example. When he hung on the cross, even his disciples could not understand. Everything looked lost. The Messiah they had followed was dying. It made no sense. The sky darkened, the earth shook, and hope seemed buried. But heaven knew what humanity couldn't see, that the cross wasn't defeat, it was destiny. What looked like the end was actually the beginning of redemption for all mankind. That's how God works. He hides his greatest miracles in moments that look like failure. This is why, when your life doesn't make sense, you can still trust that God is in control. You may be standing in your own pit. Right now, the job that ended, the relationship that fell apart, the prayer that seems unanswered, and it all feels unfair. But if you could see what God is orchestrating behind the curtain of time, you would realize that your story is far from over. He is aligning people, positioning opportunities, and writing chapters that will reveal why you had to walk through this valley. You may not understand the why now, but one day you'll look back and say, now I see it. That pain had purpose, that delay had design, that season had strategy. Every difficulty you've faced is a building block for what's ahead. Every tear you've cried is watering the soil of your destiny. Every closed door has pushed you closer to the one that's meant for you. The confusion you feel today will become clarity tomorrow. The same God who turned Joseph's betrayal into blessing, David's wilderness into worship, and Jesus' cross into victory, will turn your suffering into strength. Nothing is wasted in his hands. You see, pain refines what comfort cannot. It humbles, strengthens, and deepens you. Sometimes the greatest revelations come from the darkest rooms. You won't always understand it in the moment, but faith was never meant to understand. It was meant to trust. Trust that God is writing a story far greater than you can see. Trust that your current struggle is not the conclusion, but the construction of something beautiful. One day, everything will make sense. You'll see how every delay protected you, every heartbreak redirected you, and every disappointment prepared you. You'll stand where God always intended you to be and realize that none of it was random. Every moment was part of a divine masterpiece. What makes no sense today will one day be your testimony. So hold on, keep believing, because what God is doing in the dark will soon shine in the light. You may not understand it now. You may not see the path clearly. You may feel like you're standing in a fog, surrounded by uncertainty, unable to tell where the next step will lead. But faith was never about seeing. Faith is about trusting. It's about holding the hand of God even when you cannot see his face. It's believing that the same God who began a good work in you will be faithful to finish it, no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it seems, no matter how quiet heaven feels. Faith whispers, I don't see it yet, but I know it's coming. There will be moments when you want to give up. You'll wonder if your prayers are bouncing off the ceiling. You'll question if your waiting is in vain. But remember this, God's promises are not fragile. His word never fails. He's not a man that he should lie, nor a human that he should forget. If he said he will do it, he will, just not always in the way or the timing you expect. God is never early and never late. He is always right on time. The moment you think he's forgotten, he's already preparing something greater behind the scenes. When his timing arrives, things that once seemed impossible will become effortless. The doors that refused to open for years will suddenly swing wide with ease. The opportunities that slipped away will return in a way that fits perfectly with your purpose. People who overlooked you will be the very ones who recognize you. The situations that felt hopeless will shift overnight. That's what happens when divine timing meets divine purpose. Everything aligns. But before that moment comes, there's something sacred about the waiting. Waiting is where your faith is purified. It's where you learn to depend on God rather than your own understanding. It's where your heart becomes still enough to hear His voice. When you wait, you are learning the rhythm of heaven. You are learning to walk by faith and not by sight. And it is in that space of surrender, that place where you stop fighting to control the outcome, that you truly begin to see God move. Sometimes, God withholds the full picture because if you saw it too soon, you'd run ahead of His plan. Other times, He allows confusion so you'll stay close to Him. The delays are not meant to destroy your faith, but to deepen it. Every unanswered prayer is a reminder that He is still in control. Every closed door is a message that He has a better one in mind. You are not being punished, you are being positioned. You are not forgotten, you are being formed. Think of the seasons of life. A tree doesn't bear fruit all year round. There are times when it appears barren, lifeless, stripped of leaves. But beneath the surface, life is moving. Roots are growing deeper. Strength is being built. And when the season turns, the fruit comes forth in abundance. Your life is no different. Just because you can't see progress doesn't mean it's not happening. God's timing often hides growth beneath the soil of patience. So trust Him when it's unclear. Trust Him when the road feels endless. Trust Him when the promise seems impossible. Because when the appointed time comes, it will come suddenly. The things that took years of waiting will manifest in moments. The prayers you whispered in tears will return as shouts of joy. The pain you carried in silence will become a platform for His glory. And when it happens, you'll realize it wasn't delayed. It was destined. So don't rush what God is still writing. Don't lose heart in the middle of the chapter. Your story is still unfolding, and the author of time has never written a failure. Hold on, keep believing, keep trusting. Because when His time arrives, everything will come together so perfectly that you'll look back and say, "Now I understand. It was always working for my good, so hold on, my friend. Don't give up in the waiting room of life. I know it feels heavy right now. I know there are days when the silence feels unbearable, when the prayers you've been repeating seem unanswered, when the path ahead feels endless and dark. But what if this pause, this quiet, this in-between is not punishment but preparation? What if what feels like a delay is actually divine design? What if this season of stillness is where God is building something in you that the next season will require? You see, when it looks like nothing is happening, that's often when heaven is working the hardest. God is not ignoring you, He's arranging the pieces. What you call a pause, He calls positioning. What you see as waiting, He sees as weaving, connecting every thread, every moment, every person, every experience to create a masterpiece that only makes sense when you see it from above. You think you've been stuck, but in reality, He's been steadying your steps. You think you've been overlooked, but He's been overshadowing you with His protection. Sometimes, silence is the sound of God working behind the scenes. There's a sacred beauty in the waiting room. It's where faith grows muscles. It's where hope becomes unshakable. It's where worship becomes deeper, because it's no longer based on what you see, but on who you know God to be. Don't let impatience make you step out before the promise is ready. The danger of moving too soon is missing what was meant for you later. When God says wait, He's not withholding the blessing, He's perfecting it. He's aligning the right timing, the right people, and the right circumstances so that when it arrives, it doesn't just visit, it stays. Maybe right now you feel like nothing makes sense, the job didn't work out, the relationship ended, the door you prayed for slammed shut. But the truth is, sometimes God's no is not rejection, it's redirection. He's steering you away from what could have harmed you and guiding you towards something better. You might not see it now, but one day you'll look back and realize, if that door had opened, I would have settled. If that person had stayed, I would have missed my destiny. If that opportunity had come too soon, I wouldn't have been ready. Every unanswered prayer is a hidden mercy, and here's the promise: everything will make sense soon. Every confusion will turn into clarity. Every tear you've cried will have meaning. Every sleepless night will become part of your testimony. You'll see that the waiting wasn't wasted, it was working for you. The pain that felt unbearable will become the very story that helps someone else hold on. God doesn't waste a single season. He turns broken pieces into beautiful purpose. When the appointed time comes, it will happen. Suddenly, the doors will open so effortlessly that you'll realize it was never about your striving, but His timing. The opportunities will appear, the right people will arrive, and what once felt impossible will unfold like it had been planned all along, because it was. The same God who started the journey with you will complete it perfectly. So don't despise this waiting. Don't let silence make you doubt. Sing even when you can't see. Pray even when you don't feel it. Keep walking even when the road is unclear. Because the God who promised to finish what He began has never failed, and He won't start now. The story is still being written, and the ending will be more beautiful than you can imagine. Hold on, my friend. Keep trusting, keep believing, keep standing. Soon you'll see how every moment, the waiting, the tears, the confusion, the struggle all fit together like pieces of a divine puzzle. And when you stand in the light of God's perfect timing, you'll smile and say, it was all worth it. Everything really did make sense, just like He said it would. Because when God's timing finally arrives, it will not come with noise or confusion, it will come with peace. Suddenly, the thing that didn't make sense will begin to align. The delays that once broke your heart will become proof of divine wisdom. You'll understand that what you thought was wasted time was actually God preparing the perfect time. The prayers you whispered through tears will return to you as laughter. The closed doors that made you question your faith will open so smoothly that you'll realize they were never closed to punish you. They were closed to protect you. When God moves, He does it so beautifully that you won't have to force anything, it will simply flow. You see, the timing of God is never random. He is the author of seasons and the keeper of moments. He doesn't just watch time, He rules over it. Every sunrise and every sunset in your life happens according to His design. When He finally says, now, everything changes in an instant. Suddenly, the years of waiting make sense. Suddenly, the pain feels purposeful. Suddenly, the story that felt shattered becomes whole. The same hands that wrote the stars into the sky are writing your story with precision, and not a single second is misplaced. When that divine moment arrives, you will look back and realize that even your detours were part of the destination. The heartbreaks, the losses, the disappointments, all of them were shaping your heart to carry the blessing. God does not rush His creation. Just like a flower cannot bloom before its time, your destiny will unfold at the exact moment it's meant to. You cannot hurry a sunrise, and you cannot hurry God's plan. When the light breaks through, it will be worth every dark night you endured. You might not see it now, but every step you've taken, even the ones that felt like mistakes, has led you closer to where you are supposed to be. God is not just interested in giving you blessings, He's interested in building you into someone who can handle them. That's why the waiting hurts, because He's stretching your faith, deepening your trust, and molding your character. The process may be painful, but it's not pointless. When the breakthrough comes, you'll see that He was not just preparing the promise for you, He was preparing you for the promise, and when it happens, it won't just bless you, it will bless everyone connected to you. The testimony that comes from your waiting will inspire others to keep believing. The peace you carry after the storm will heal others who are still in theirs. That's the beauty of God's timing. It not only fulfills your purpose, it multiplies His glory. So, when the waiting feels endless, remember this: God has perfect aim. When He releases what He's prepared for you, it will hit the target exactly when and where it's meant to. You won't need to chase opportunities. They'll begin to find you. You won't need to beg for acceptance. Favor will recognize you. You won't need to explain yourself. Your results will speak for you. The same people who doubted you will witness what God does through you and realize that no delay can destroy a divine plan. That's why you must hold on. Don't give up just before the moment shifts. Sometimes the darkest part of the night comes right before the dawn. When it feels like nothing is changing, that's when God is finishing His masterpiece. The door is about to open, the promise is about to manifest, and the tears are about to turn into triumph. When that moment finally arrives, you'll stand there, maybe in awe, maybe in tears, but you'll understand. You'll realize that His timing was perfect all along. You'll look back and see how every step, every silence, every season, and every struggle was necessary to bring you here. And as you lift your hands in gratitude, you'll whisper the words that will echo through eternity. It was worth the wait. Everything made sense in His time, so trust Him. Trust Him when it hurts, trust Him when it's silent, trust Him when everything inside you wants to quit. Trust Him when the path ahead is blurry. When your heart feels heavy, and when you can't see how it will all work out. Because trust is not built in comfort, it's built in confusion. It's in the moments when nothing makes sense that your faith has the opportunity to grow roots. When you can't trace His hand, you must learn to trust His heart. God's timing may not make sense to your understanding, but it always aligns with His perfect plan. Rest in Him. That means letting go of the need to control how everything unfolds. It means surrendering your timeline, your expectations, your plans, and placing them into hands far wiser than yours. Resting in God doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing everything you can and leaving what you can't in His care. It means believing that while you are waiting, He is working. While you are sleeping, He is arranging. While you are crying, He is comforting. When you truly rest in God, you stop striving to make things happen in your strength and start trusting that He will make things happen in His. And when you rest, something beautiful happens. Peace takes over where anxiety once ruled. You stop asking when, and start saying, whenever you're ready, Lord. You stop fighting for what's already yours, and you start standing in faith, knowing that if it's meant to be, it will be, and nothing can stop it. That's not weakness, that's power. The power of peace, the power of patience, the power of divine trust. It's the kind of trust that says, even if I can't see it, I believe it's on the way. Because the truth is, everything will make sense soon. All the confusion you've endured, all the delays you've questioned, all the tears you've cried, they are not wasted. Every single one of them has a purpose. You are being shaped, molded, refined, and prepared. The pieces that feel scattered now are being arranged into something greater than you could imagine. One day, the puzzle will come together, and you'll see the full picture, one of grace, strength, and divine perfection. Your confusion will turn into clarity. The questions that once kept you awake will fade into answers that bring peace. The doors that shut in your face will make sense when the right one opens effortlessly. The pain that once broke you will reveal its purpose. It was stretching your spirit, not destroying it. The season of silence will prove that God was speaking through stillness. Your tears will turn into testimony. The very things that made you cry will become the same things you thank God for. What hurt you will teach you, what delayed you will develop you, and what disappointed you will direct you. You'll tell your story one day, not from a place of pain, but from a place of power. People will look at you and see resilience, not because life was easy, but because grace carried you through, and your waiting will turn into worship. When you finally see what God has been doing all along, you won't just celebrate the blessing, you'll praise Him for the process. You'll thank Him for the nights you didn't give up, for the strength you didn't know you had, for the faith that kept you standing when everything else was falling apart. Because it was in those moments that you discovered who God truly is, not just the giver of blessings, but the keeper of your soul. So trust Him, rest in Him, and hold on to hope with all your heart. The story is not over, it's just unfolding. What feels uncertain today will make perfect sense tomorrow. Every unanswered prayer, every painful pause, every unexpected turn, they are all leading you exactly where you are meant to be. One day soon you'll look back and say with peace in your heart, "Now I understand. It was all for my good." Everything truly did make sense, just as He promised. Because when God's timing finally arrives, it will not simply bring change, it will bring revelation. You'll look back on every valley, every sleepless night, every whispered prayer, and realize that God was never late, He was never distant, He was never absent. He was working, molding, preparing, and aligning every piece with perfect accuracy. When the moment finally comes, it will happen so suddenly and so beautifully that you'll know only God could have done this. The same doors that refused to open for years will swing wide as if they had been waiting just for you. The same people who once doubted you will watch in awe as grace lifts you higher than effort ever could. That's the beauty of divine timing. When it happens, you'll know it wasn't luck. It wasn't coincidence, it was God. When the time comes, you won't need to strive or push or prove. The blessing will fit like it was made for you, because it was. You won't need to chase opportunities. They'll begin to chase you. You won't have to fight for attention or validation. Favor will recognize you on sight. The blessing that comes in God's time carries peace with it. It doesn't drain you, it strengthens you. It doesn't bring confusion, it brings clarity. It doesn't demand your exhaustion, it multiplies your joy. That's how you'll know it from God, because it will flow effortlessly, like a river finally reaching its destination after years of carving through stone. But until that moment, keep your heart steady. Don't let impatience make you settle for less than what's meant for you. Don't let frustration push you toward doors that God hasn't opened yet. If you open something by force, you'll have to sustain it by force. But if God opens it, He will sustain it with grace. That's why waiting is sacred, because in waiting, God teaches you to trust the pace of His plan, not the pressure of your own desires. The world may tell you to hurry, but heaven tells you to hold on. When your season finally arrives, it will make sense why it took so long. You'll see how God used the delays to mature your heart, how He used the disappointments to build your discernment, how He used the silence to draw you closer. You'll see that what you thought was rejection was actually redirection, God moving you away from something temporary to bring you into something eternal. The tears that once felt bitter will taste sweet when you see what they birthed. The suffering that once broke you will be the very soil where your blessings grow. And when that breakthrough comes, it will not come quietly. It will come with such grace, such timing, such precision that people will ask, "How did it happen?" And all you will be able to say is, "It was God," because no human hand could have arranged it so perfectly. No plan could have aligned it so flawlessly. You will realize that every season of waiting was worth it, every unanswered prayer, every detour, every delay. The pain didn't disqualify you, it prepared you. The waiting didn't waste your time, it refined your faith. So when temptation comes to doubt or despair, remember this: you are not forgotten, you are being fashioned. God hasn't abandoned the blueprint, He's just working on the foundation. The higher the building, The deeper the foundation must go, that's why he's taking his time with you. The dream he's preparing to release in your life will require deep roots. He's not just preparing you for the promise. He's preparing the promise for you, and when it finally arrives, when the door opens, when the answer comes, when the light breaks through, you'll fall to your knees in awe. You'll realize that his wait was never meant to hurt you but to honor you. You'll see that he didn't forget, he was faithful. You'll look back on the journey, the prayers, the pain, and with tears of gratitude say, it was all worth it. Everything really did make sense in his perfect time.